So in addition to Kaaboo Del Mar having the most exciting musical lineup of the year, Foo Fighters, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Imagine Dragons, Jimmy Eat World, Cake, Everclear, Candlebox, Katy Perry, Post Malone, once-in-a-lifetime acts like Robert Plant, Slash, and the Wailers, the comedy lineup at Kaaboo Del Mar is truly special. Folks like Judd Apatow, Whitney Cummings, and Craig Ferguson are all on the bill. And a man who I'm exceptionally excited to see, Louie Anderson, one of the greatest stand-up comics of all time, a winner of multiple Emmys, a best-selling author, star of movies and TV. Louie Anderson will be at Kaaboo Del Mar September 15th at 2 o'clock. And we're going to talk to him in a second. But first, let's check out the moment where America found out about Louie Anderson's genius.
I can't stay long. I'm in between meals, so bear with me. I was just at McDonald's and all those statistics just changed. So. I went shopping today. What's this one size fits all stuff? Being in California, being fat, and try to get into this California life. Went to the beach the other day. Every time I'd lay down, people would push me back into the water. He's dying. And the bums down at the beach, always coming up to you, those guys. Hey, buddy, could you help me out with a sandwich? Well, sure, where is it?
Hey, it's Louie Anderson.
Dude, I've been, I am so much better now you called. I've been staring at the phone, we're waiting for it to ring. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Oh, was this the right time, or do I have the wrong time?
No, I was just looking at the phone in anticipation. You're perfectly on time. You're like a minute and a half early, which we people in radio appreciate.
Are you AD?
I am AD.
AD, nice to meet you. I'm Louie, LA. LA AD.
I'm good. Like you're playing Kaaboo September 15th. And we're going to talk about all that in a bit. But the reason I'm so excited to talk to you is because for years, I've kind of wanted to thank you. Your book, The F Word, How to Survive Your Family, dude, that thing meant everything to me. It came along at a point in my life where I really needed it. And I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, AD, thank you. That means the world to me. I mean, I just know, it's kind of a funny life. I have this great life that I do acting and I do stand-up a lot, and those are the things that kind of are so much fun and serendipity, and then just like how I never would have known that affected you, and so that's a great gift to me that I got to find out that a book that was difficult for me to write and had a lot of ramifications with my family. They weren't all thrilled with it.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine they weren't.
And so to hear that means the world to me. It means, I was trying to help myself, and I was trying to help in the process, hopefully other people. And that's why I thought it was an important book, because I think we get lost and if you are in the same story over and over and you don't have any information and you don't know what to do, sometimes somebody else's journey out of theirs can help you find a way out of yours.
There were so many points in that book where I'm like, oh, this is how you might deal with this. But I think the most important thing was, I think when you're going through whatever it is you're going through, especially with family, especially when you did something that took some doing, in that you don't want to throw other family under the bus when you don't necessarily know who to go talk to. Knowing that there's someone else out there that is going through or has been through something that was the really big thing with it.
Well, I've always been torn between, should I write this stuff? Because it doesn't make you more successful or popular comedy-wise to do these kind of things. They actually kind of arrest your career. They kind of hurt the idea that everything's fun and everything's rosy and everything's, but I always felt like it was important. It always was something I felt like I had to do, and that's why I did it. And the thing you just told me, your experience with it and what it meant to you, is exactly the reinforcement that makes it, makes everything worth it. No matter what I went through, makes it worth it to know that it meant something to you, because shouldn't that be what we're all doing for each other? That's kind of my way I'm trying to live my life.
I mean, look, you've probably seen the receipts. You know a little bit better what affects your career and what doesn't. But I actually got into your comedy through that book. It was one of those things where I was going on a road trip and I was like, this is, I've got this audio book. I'm going to listen to that as I drive. And I got the hard copy as well, because when I was driving, I wanted to read it. And, well, it just, I got into your comedy and everything else that you've done because of that.
No, that's long.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
You never know what affects people, and you never know, because you put it out there and you hope that it matters to somebody. I recently got an email from somebody because of something I said that meant a great deal to them, and it was very, very, very moving email, and very brave to share all the problems that the person had been through, and I appreciated it. I answered the email. I always answer the email.
Well, from the movies to the books to the TV shows to the stand-up, specifically the stand-up, everything you do makes such a big difference in people's lives. And for that reason, I wanted to ask you, if you had to pick one moment, maybe it was seeing somebody else on TV, maybe it was listening to a record, maybe it was seeing someone live. If you had to pick one moment where you knew for a fact that you had to do comedy, that was going to be your life, what would you say that was?
If I had to pick one moment that got me there, or one thing that would propel me to it?
Well, I mean, obviously you had, the moment where you broke, but where you knew it was a must for you.
When people stopped me afterwards and said, "Hey, that was so great. That really was the thing. You made me forget about my troubles during the show," and that was in the little club in Mickey Finn's, where people had access to us because there were only 5 comics, and when we were done, we would always hang around and talk to people. And when people would say to me, my dad was like that, and I'm glad you talk about that thing, or that joke really meant a lot to me because I'm also struggling with my weight and that kind of stuff. So I've always felt like I love the response of the laughter, but I always feel like if I could get people to take something home with them, that would make them feel better long after they saw me, that would be my bonus. And that's that. But for me to say, one day I just said, well, this is all I can ever hope to do. This is, I felt once I started doing it, AD, I knew I had to do it. It was almost like my drug.
Very good.
And what's so great is this is my 40th year, and I feel like I just did some shows over the weekend out on the East Coast, and I go, oh man, I'm enjoying. I don't want to be egotistical, but I've never been better. And that really made me feel good. Like I was so proud of myself because I'm not letting up. I'm putting the accelerator to the floor. So I'm taking it even further and pushing it even more. And I'm putting a master set together for Kaaboo. I'm taking all 6 of my specials, all my recordings, all my stuff, and I'm taking all the very best of Louie Anderson that is guaranteed to get a laugh, and I'm putting it all together to see if I could make the people explode at Kaaboo.
I'm glad that you're not. I'm glad you're doing that because I've never gotten a chance to see you play live, but I've listened to, seen the specials, all of the above for many years, and I really like it. Like there's some comics that will do an hour and throw it out at the end of the year and start fresh. I really love for want of a better expression, a greatest hit set. It's just like, it doesn't matter if I've heard it before. I know it's coming, and I still laugh.
And here's what's so great. I love the idea that, because I love when I go and somebody does all their hits in music.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. I look forward to it. And I just was doing it this weekend. I go, I'm gonna put together a master set. I'm gonna put together the set of all sets. I'm gonna put the set together that made me successful.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see it. And you make an excellent point. Like Robert Plant also playing Kaaboo. What if he came up and were like, no whole lot of love, just a bunch of stuff I've done in the last year? Like, people would be mad because, you've made tremendous contributions to people's lives over the years with your words and everything that you've done. And I love that you're doing that. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be, I'll tell you what's going to be so much fun about it. I am going to have the chance to enjoy it as much as everyone else, which always doubles the enjoyment for the crowd, in my opinion. If I'm free and full into it, they're free and full into it. I'm excited about Kaaboo.
Man, it should be an absolutely fantastic one. Look, the musical lineup is always stellar. The comedy lineup is stellar. And it's an amazing, amazing day. The food's delicious. The restrooms are clean and they all flush as opposed to being potties of the porta variety. It's like, nice. There's really never a better experience for this sort of thing.
I think I'm on it too. Am I right?
I got to double check, but I know I will be there.
Yeah. Well, good. Please come and say hello, will you? So that I can get a face for this wonderful interview, and also bring your book if you have it. I'd love to write something in it.
I would absolutely love that. And do you have to rush off to something? You free to talk for a little bit?
No, go ahead.
Oh, excellent. Well, no, I just that thing that you said. I wanted to go back to that. The thing you said about feeling like you're leaving people with something to take home. The laughs are great, but you've given them something that can maybe make the rest of their journey through life a little bit easier, take away some of the sting of daily living. I feel like that's what makes you special in everything that you do. I feel like everything that you've ever done, the books, the animated series, the comedy, all of it seems to be with this idea in mind. I'm going to try and leave the world a little bit better than I found it. And I think that's what, I think that's why you're still doing it for 40 years and have a greatest hit set. Yeah,
it all just came together all of a sudden. And, because I'll be at the show and people will go, the cranberries, for my set from my mom, the cranberries, and then the dad thing, oh, is that right, Louie? And then somebody will go, all right. And people will throw that out, throw the lines out. Nickel difference, Louie. These are things, and I didn't realize that they resonated. I didn't realize that. I'll tell you a really funny story about, if you will indulge me.
Absolutely.
I was at Bally's, and a guy was really drunk, and he kept going, Louie, hey, Louie. I go, what? I was he wasn't bothering anybody, but I was laughing because it sounded so, Louie, you in yet? Are you blood? And I go, what is he saying? He's saying something I know. And I did a joke on the Tonight Show, and he was repeating it, but he was so drunk. I did a joke where I wiped my brow, and I go, I'm sorry I'm sweating, but if I don't, I'll explode, right? And he was saying, Louie, you sweating yet? You gonna explode? And he was so hammered, but that's what he did. And I never forgot, Louie, you sweating yet? Explode.
You have hit a point in your career where, this is the power of having done it for 40 years. You haven't told me a joke necessarily, and I'm familiar with if I don't sweat, I explode. But just hearing your voice talking the way you do, it's like you've now got couple generations of people that are Pavlovian style trained to be happy and laugh when they hear your voice. It's an immensely powerful position for you to be in.
Well, and likewise for me, I am so connected to my audience nowadays that I have a hard time leaving the stage. I just keep going. The other night I did 2 hours. I just, I've been, like just 2 hours with the blink of an eye, basically, and I goes, hey, what do you guys, are you done? Do you want to, what should we do? And I just kept going. And then I know that the theater was going, oh, we're going into overtime. And, but God, I just was I have to tell you, I was sopping wet at the end of it. And I just felt, I felt like a rock star, I have to be honest with you. I felt like this is what it means when you leave it. I left it all. Right. When an audience, I'm not bragging, but when an audience immediately gets up when you say goodnight, when they immediately get up and stand up and when it's just spontaneous and it just is I know exactly. I'm having the time of my life, still doing the thing that I started October 10th, 1978.
This is, I think, what makes you special. It's, that you're sharing something. It becomes more than just a guy on stage that knows how to kill and an audience that's there to laugh. It's when you're joined together in that experience, and it's a special, magical thing that I don't know how often it happens for you, but I'm sure it happens and enough for you to realize what an incredible thing it is.
I think that I've been toying with this idea that I just came, one day through a series of heartbreaks. I decided that I was going to live a completely joyous life. And I can't stress enough how important that change is to making yourself, to say to yourself, yeah, that's all good and that's fine, and this is a problem and that is this, but damn it, I am going to live a joyous life, because my life could be gone tomorrow. Anybody's life could be gone in a second. And I am not going to not live in a joyous way. I am not going to regret. I'm not going to fret. And I'm not going to be bummed out about things that just do not matter. What really matters is the joy in life, and that joy elevates me and elevates my comedy and seeps into the crowd as the joy in the crowd seeps into me. And, it's free flow, and I just love it. I'm telling you, I love doing stand-up still. And that is a testament to, I don't know, the bright light that's shining so directly into my eyes and heart.
Well, you couldn't have put it more beautifully. I feel like through all of your work, whether it's the books or the comedy or any of the above, it seems like you're working through stuff always.
I am.
But you're allowing us to do that with you, if that makes sense.
I guess I'm just I don't mind people looking over my shoulder or looking directly at it. I don't mind while I'm doing it. Like you ever watch your mom make a fantastic batch of cookies and, or, whatever it was, her specialty, or you ever watch somebody make caramels or fudge or scoop ice cream.
Oh, great. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Well, that's all that stuff, like I'm just saying, like, I don't mind sharing with you what, thing I thought was a burden, but turned into be funny and a travesty, but funny still, like just the experience, the idea that, like, it's really, I'm down in Florida and it just started raining so hard, and all I could think about was, it's so fantastic to get sopping wet in the rain. I have 1,000,000 memories from childhood till now of getting sopping wet. And there's something about coming in the door and saying, throw me a towel, I'm sopping wet. And there's something about being cleaned off and cleansed and refreshed and, get a part of what came from the sky onto you and not look at it as a burden. Who cares if your shoes are wet, your socks are wet, your pants are wet, your underwear are wet, your hair's wet? Who cares? Who cares? I didn't run for it because I'm not a good runner, but I walked in that rain and I enjoyed every second of it.
Well, look, these are all the reasons why it's going to be a very special thing when we get a chance to see you at Kaaboo. I personally can't wait to do it. I know there's tons of people that will be there with me.
This is the first time this set, the super set, the ultimate set, the master set.
Oh, this is the debut of
I haven't done it before. Oh. I haven't done the so I'm excited because it's very hard to pick the 100 or whatever it's going to be best things. I don't know. I mean, I'm going way back. I'm going way back with the jokes.
Well, I mean, how hard is it for you to do that? You always hear bands say, "Wow, we haven't played that one in a little while. Let's, we had to blow the dust off a little bit in practice before we took it to the stage." How hard is it for you?
I'll probably sneak into the club a couple times and do it. I'll probably sneak into Vegas. There's a couple clubs in Vegas, and I live in Vegas, and I'll probably sneak into them and do a couple, maybe one at the Comedy Store, sneak in, do little chunks of them, if something doesn't feel right. But mostly, it's not hard. It's just like, it's a memory thing. Like, okay, they'll fall into place. I'm positive of it. They'll fall into place, I mean, I'm going to be down by San Diego. I haven't done the zoo bit. That was a huge bit for me. The San Diego Zoo, when first time you go there, I remember the guy said, I said, "How much is it?" The guy said, $50. I go, I don't want to take any of the animals. I just want to look at them. And I remember that experience. And I remember going up that thing and looking up what's up that hill? Giraffe? I've seen that. I don't need to see that again. They're just right there. All that stuff is just right there. And because of where I'm at and how hard I've been working, they're just right there. They're just around the corner,
Well, man, I cannot wait to see you. September 15th, Saturday of Kaaboo. Looks like 2:00 in the afternoon. We got a chance to see Louie Anderson, and I can't.
Louie too.
Yeah, I can't. Louie too. Yeah, I can't think of anything better. I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm really excited. AD, I can't thank you enough. I hope you realize it means the world to me.
There's not too many opportunities look, there's people you might see on TV, or there's people that maybe you listen to on the radio, or people, people that you maybe haven't met, but people who've made a real difference in your life. When you get a chance to thank someone for something that they've done, that means a lot. I want you to know that, in addition to making me laugh for years, your book really helped me get through some stuff and look at the world in a different way ever since I read it. And thank you. You've made a tremendous difference in my life because of that book and all the other things you've done. And I'm sure mine is just one of many stories out there. And I was just lucky enough to get to tell you.
And don't forget to not take no for an answer about coming back and saying hi.
I absolutely will.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Lou.
Will come out and have some fun. See you the 15th.
Yes, absolutely. The amazing Louie Anderson, one of the greatest stand-up comics of all time, a winner of multiple Emmys, a best-selling author, star of movies and TV. We will see him at Kaaboo September 15th at 2:00. You can grab yourself passes now at KaabooDelmar.com. We'll see you there.